Live from the Export Beer Garden studios, you're listening to the BYC, where we'll be reflecting upon the Black Caps' first loss of the tournament. And whilst it was a disappointment, there's still plenty to like, with key players looking in good form and the continued emergence of Rachin Ravindra. And what in God's name has happened to the English? On paper, a formidable side who seem to be combusting before our eyes. Obviously, all is not well in their camp after they were completely humiliated by the South Africans. Lurking in the background are the dirty, filthy, cheating Australians, who, unlike the English, seem to be righting the ship. Their next match against our boys will be a fascinating encounter and a good indicator of how things may unfold further down the line. And fellas, we've got Mike Lane in with us today. G'day, Mike. How's life?
G'day, guys. Jeez, well, 2 cups, 1 country at the moment, isn't it? It's all on, and I'm actually glad that the rugby's going to get out of the way this weekend, so I can just go full balls deep in the Cricket World Cup.
Yeah,
and really, really ruin my marriage completely.
Yeah, full mongrel. How are you going, Dylan? You good?
Yeah, marriage is hanging in there, but I've learned new
It's not what I've heard.
New thing every week. The glow of an iPad in bed apparently isn't ideal.
Yes.
Relationship building.
Well, it's something
material.
to do with the blue light. It can really, mess with your senses.
Well, it's not a turn on, is it? It's it's not an aphrodisiac.
Well, it depends what you're watching, Mike. But anyway,
let's get back. Rich and Revenge cover drive is pretty damn sexy.
Yeah, it is very sexy. Hey, but by God Almighty, Afghanistan, Dylan Cleaver have done it again. What the bloody hell's going on?
Well, what the hell's going on with Pakistan? They were dreadful.
Yes.
They scratched their way to 286. Babar Azam got a really, if it's possible, got a really horrible kind of 74. But the most interesting thing for this, apart from the fact they picked this upset last week, was after the game. Well, actually, during the game, you could see Mickey Arthur, who's the Pakistan director of coaching, just going back and forth from the dugout to the changing room, so disgusted. Every time Pakistan made a mistake, he'd throw his hands up in the air, stride off. Grant Bradburn was obviously wearing it. And
as long as I don't get a suspicious clutcher at any stage as well, this is what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and so, we don't want a Bob Woolman, do we? No. And so after the game, Babar Azam, very Kane Williamson-like, just completely threw his players under the bus, saying the pitch was helping spinners even in the second innings, but we, especially our spinners, didn't hit our lengths. Every over we conceded a boundary. In the bowling, we have to be able to execute our plans. When you're not able to hit the length you want, end up conceding boundaries, your focus shifts to stopping runs. And if you keep making a mistake, that puts you under pressure. And then he went on to slag off the fielders, because when you're slagging off the spinners, you're pretty much just slagging off 2 players, so they know who it's directed at, right?
Yes.
And fielding is all about attitude, and I don't see any attitude from the team. You need to put an extra effort in and be fit. Bit worrying if you go to the World Cup and you're not fit, obviously. You should focus on the ball, not other thoughts.
What else are you doing?
Yeah, well, exactly.
That's an issue of yours, though, isn't it, Jason, in the field?
Oh,
You're very easily distracted.
I've got a lot of things going on in my head, Mike.
Yeah.
It's not just about the ball.
Yeah.
But, it was interesting, isn't it, Pakistan, because for me, they were one of those ones that I was tipping to be in the top 4 potentially, but all over the place like a madman's excrement. We've likened them, all the cliches, mercurial, all that sort of stuff, kind of Wellington-like. Dark horse, all that sort of stuff. But, geez, full credit to Afghanistan. They're going great guns at the moment.
8 wickets too.
Yes.
It was a hiding. It wasn't just a minnow just scratching and farting through. They beat them by 8 wickets, chasing down 282. So it's not, What worries me about that result as a New Zealand fan, and as we get more and more nervous as we get closer to the semis, is New Zealand playing Pakistan when Pakistan have got nothing to lose except upsetting our chances. That's what worries me a little. I mean, they're playing terribly, Pakistan, but you know what they're like. Yeah, they can pull one out. They can score 350 and have a blinder. That's what worries me is these results here, that they're getting tipped up by Afghanistan, and then they're going to try and tip up our campaign later on.
No, look, I'll calm your nerves there, Mike Lane. We're steady as, we're solid as. We've done everything we needed to do. Yes, we lost against India. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But bugger me down, South Africa going great guns. Smashing runs all over the place, of course, massively humiliating the English and then humiliating the Bangers. What's going on with them? They're obviously in good touch.
Yeah, so before the tournament, all the talk was Bazball. England are going to get 400 every time they bat. South Africa just quietly rocked up with the most destructive batting lineup in the tournament by some distance. Markram's going great guns. What's his name? The angry little red-headed fella, Heinrich Klaasen. What a player.
Yes. But he looked so average, not average, but when he was out in New Zealand, he looked like a scared little ginger middle-order batsman. Yeah. And what's happened?
Yeah, well, look at
Klaasen's
Kool-Aid. Klaasen there, 288 runs, 100, 150, strike rate of 151, 15 sixes. Markram, 265 runs, 100, 250s, a strike rate of 124. Thanks very much. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, the England, how good was that England result? Because I saw a whole lot of posts. The Barmy Army posted, going to be a great weekend, double victory for England in the rugby. Good. And then they got they got just pipped in the rugby, but absolutely destroyed in the cricket. And poor old Joss Buttler doesn't know what to do, does he? Every photo there is of him in the media, he's just this lost soul.
He looks down, he looks deflated. I see Ben Stokes has turned down a long-term contract. He's only taken up a 1-year contract. Joe Root's saying, hey, we've got to ditch one of our competitions and play more one-day cricket if we want to be serious about this. So they've pretty much given up. All the talk out of their camp is,
well, they've only won one.
Yeah.
And they've played 4 and won 1. So they're not all ducked.
And the interesting thing on paper, they're an amazing side. And so do you think that's what it is, the English, that they just haven't played enough one-day cricket? But yes, you make the point they've won 1 from 4, but not only that, they've been given hidings.
Yeah.
2 massive hidings. What the bloody hell's going on, Dylan? Surely it can't be, we haven't played enough one-day cricket. That can't be it.
They can't stop the bleeding when they're bowling.
Yes.
And part of the reason is Chris Wokes is just so out of form they had to ditch him. This guy, Reece Topley, it looks like their best player, but he goes off if he gets a sore finger. If he slides on the boundary and hurts his knee. So he's got sandfly heart.
You're saying he's a pussy?
Sandfly heart is the way I...
Right.
Sandfly heart. I've never heard that expression. That's very nice. Sandfly heart.
Yeah, they just can't...
And/or pussy.
Thanks, Jess. That's more like it.
Adil Rashid is not bowling particularly well. Mo's not getting in. They just can't stop players scoring on them. Like Conway and Ratchin made them look pretty ordinary, and you wondered if that was just a first up, shaking out a few cobwebs. But no, it's continued.
Yeah. And just, looking at that England-South Africa game too, you got your English tail enders at the air smashing the bejesus out of it, making it look easy as, I think the last 2 put on, they got 40 or 50 each nearly, making the other batsmen look like drop kicks, quite frankly.
It's easy for tailenders to do that, though.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose.
Start up the top.
Yes, of course. Well, let's look at the standings then. Of course, New Zealand, after that loss to India, dropped down to 3rd place. South Africa in 2nd. India, obviously, atop the table. Australia beginning to make some moves, fellas. And this is the big threat for me. Pakistan after them, Afghanistan, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, England and Bangladesh at the bottom there.
How good is to see England below Sri Lanka, Netherlands and Afghanistan?
Yeah,
until last
fantastic.
night, they were bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. But Bangladesh got beaten so badly that their net run rate has dropped down below England's, which is still appalling. Minus 1.248 net run rate is just, that's minnow stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you'd expect Canada to sort of have if they rocked up to the World Cup.
Exactly. Can we just touch on that New Zealand-India game? Because, clearly it was a loss, but I was kind of heartened. I feel like we've been the only team thus far to actually push the Indians and put them under a bit of pressure.
Did we, though?
Yeah, I think we did. We lost, if you're 170 off for 2 and you have that kind of collapse, that's not great, obviously. But let's look at the batting, son of a Mitch.
But if it wasn't for him,
but also
pretty grim.
I've been blown away by the continued development of Rachin Ravindra. Yep. He's obviously a class player. He was obviously earmarked as a quality player, but he's genuinely taken me aback at his quality. And obviously now he's got the confidence that, yes, I can compete at the top level, and that's just proving great guns for him. I don't have too many concerns about our batting lineup. Young got a start again, didn't pick on. We've got hopefully Kane coming back and Conway at the top of the order. I feel pretty good about that. But also looking on the bowling side of it, I think Ratchin's improved there too. I think he's bowling better lengths. Also, you look at Santner, he's in good form. Lockie's in good form. Henry's in good form.
You were slagging off Lockie last week.
And Bolty will be Bolty. So I actually feel like, guys, we're in good nick.
Oh, I agree, and I'm quite happy to give up a game to India because I don't believe we'll beat them twice in the tournament.
No.
That's
but
the Joe Jury theory.
But we'll beat
Sound
them.
theory.
Yeah, it is. We'll beat them once, and
Yes.
I'm glad we didn't waste that in pool play. So we'll save that for when it's knockout because that's when India really shit the bed.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly fussed about that. It was the rat really. The rat took it away from us.
Yeah.
And when he was in, I was like, no, losing wickets, and I was like, got to get the rat. If you don't get the rat, then we're not going to get him out.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it was only him farting around trying to manipulate the scoreboard to get 100 that made the game a little bit closer in the end than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
They never looked that stressed during that chase. There was one little chance here, I think, maybe when...
well, I thought after the run out, actually.
After the run out, yeah.
That they went, oh, geez, it's getting a bit squeaky.
But then Adija came in and just started smashing it as well.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm not too disheartened by that. You're right, Jace. I think the team is strong. And the batting, what I'm quite pleased about is when someone fails, someone else steps up.
Yep.
Like for all the games, like Beryl Mitchell stepped up them. The games before that, it was Conway or it was Ravindra Young. Yeah. So that's what gives me a little bit of a wide on.
Do you know what gives me a wide on?
What?
The table. So there's enough teams there now that have wet the bed sufficiently to not make it. To I think it's almost got shades of 2019 Cricket World Cup about it, where New Zealand can almost reverse their way into the.
So what do you? So how many points? How many points do you think? Okay,
we
so
said 5.5 wins.
5.5 wins. So you're hoping for a half rain out.
Yeah.
Or having very high net run rate is kind of equivalent to half a win.
Which is and on that front, we've done everything we needed to do. We beat the teams we needed to beat, and we beat them soundly.
So you're saying 12 points will get you into the top four. So we want to be second or third, don't we? We don't want to play India in the semi.
I'm thinking now with Pakistan looking so wobbly that 10 points could actually get you in this time.
Right. Okay. And New Zealand obviously sitting on 8 at the moment. We've got Sri Lanka to come. We've got Pakistan to come. We've got South Africa to come. Australia to come.
I'm confident we'll beat one of those sides. Can I just bring up this horrendous feeling that I'm getting in my testicles about those dirty...
related, or
well, it could be a number of things. But these dirty, filthy, cheating Australians look to me to be riding the ship a little bit and coming through the back door.
Well,
testicles, back doors. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's Lane's influence, but no. But
don't throw me under the bus.
But you know what I mean, though. Because they're a good side, and it feels like they're just stabilising a little bit. This next match against them is going to be a real doozy.
Yeah, they've got the Netherlands tonight actually.
Yep.
Yes,
at 9:30. Look, they're minnow crushers. They don't lose to the minnows. Australia.
I don't think they're that good.
You don't think Australia are that good?
No.
But on paper, it's a good team.
It's a bloody good team.
I don't think it's a very well selected team for these conditions.
Right, because they've only got Zampa, haven't they? He's the only spinner, and maybe a bit of Maxwell throwing them down as well.
Yeah, Hazelwood, Cummins is a bit too same to get through 20 overs with those two, and then with either Green or Marsh as your other kind of seamer. Maxwell's kind of their go-to.
I don't often agree with Jace, but in this occasion, I just think their batters. I think they've got a strong enough batting team that if they find their straps, they're going to score 330, 400.
And they're going to get a bit ahead soon.
Yeah. So, look, and that's what
I'm telling you, fellas, I got a feeling about this.
Yeah, well, look, I think we're a better team than them in India anyway, but I think for this Netherlands games, they're not going to lose to Netherlands. They don't lose to minnows.
No.
So I put the TAB good punt, $100 bonus bet on both. It's boosted odds too. He's paying $6 for both Warner and Steve Smith to score a 50. Obviously, Warner's coming off the back of a pretty good innings. Smith's due, so that's what I put the money where my mouth is in terms of their batting. But hey, on Saturday, by the way, the New Zealand Aussie game. Obviously, it kicks off, goes overnight, and then we've got the Rugby World Cup in the morning. Yes. So we're doing no sleep till victory.
Man.
We're staying in the studio and we're going to watch the cricket all night and then commentate the Rugby World Cup final. So that is going to be messy.
It's a hell of a effort.
Yeah.
And can I just say to you listeners out there, if you do have a funny feeling in your testicles, please see a trained medical professional.
Hey, did you see pictures of the Black Caps? visiting the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
Holding Kane's hand.
How tight was he holding his hand? He's obviously looking to steady the ship, but he was squeezing the dear life out of Kane Williamson's hand. Obviously a big fan of Steady the Ship.
88 years old, the Dalai Lama. The 14th Dalai Lama.
He looks every day of that 88 years.
He does. Can I just ask in that picture there, who's the lady?
Well, there's
three. Yeah, the one he's holding hands.
The one that's holding hand with the Dalai Lama. Is that one of the wives?
It's one of the wives or girlfriends, I believe.
Okay.
3 wives and girlfriends there. There's a small child that belongs to Matt Henry and his lovely wife. And there is one face poking out from behind Kane Williamson's shoulder who I cannot identify, who I assume must be part of the team security detail.
He looks like a interloper, doesn't he, in the back there? Just like, hello.
If anyone can help us with that, we'll post this photo on the Beige Brigade.
Yep.
Yes.
And can I just give a bit of a hat tip to Ravindra's haircut? He's got the reverse mullet. He's got the afro coming out the front of his head. It's one of the most magnificent lids you'll come across in world cricket at the moment.
It indicates he's feeling really comfortable in his skin.
When he's growing a front afro, it's great.
Of the 16-man squad, we're counting batting cover Tommy Blundell here. Who were the 4 that didn't show up?
Oh. Wow.
What, to see the Dalai Lama?
Yes.
Saudi and Sodi aren't there?
No.
Yes.
Are they in India?
Are they in India?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I thought Sodi would have had a bit more of a run, but anyway.
And Phillips is not there?
Yeah.
Probably management decision there.
Right, yeah. Glenn would probably open his mouth, start bringing up China and a few other bits and pieces, wouldn't he?
Well, Chapman.
Oh, yeah, Chapman. He's not there either.
So that'll be it. The rest got out of bed to make the trip, so good on you.
Waiting. Hey, what do we think, incidentally, just as a very quick sidebar about Phillips bowling? That's come on a bit
improving.
too. Yeah, it is. I still hate it, but he seems to have improved a fair amount.
To me, it's a Nathan McCullum medium pace option. Like that's very much the role he played.
With a bit of a tweak on it.
Yeah, in 2015 was that kind of just coming in, farting out 4 or 5 overs, getting wickets as well.
Yes.
Which is good, but surprising. And I think, I don't know how long that'll last. Long may it last for this World Cup.
Now, the Plunket is back. Northern Districts defeated Otago by an innings at Seddon Park. Otago 267 and 77. ND 376 for 9 declared. Notables, Otago, Michael Chu 80. And Northern Districts, Scott Kugelheim 6 for 60. Sandeep Patel 145 and Joe Carter 94.
Yeah, big shock that. Big surprise, that result.
Yes.
Where'd they play that? At Seddon Park. Plenty. Geez, 77. All out for 77. That's
Are you being
atrocious.
facetious, Cleaver?
Not at all.
Are you shoving the knife into Otago
No,
again?
I thought they'd win this year.
Otago.
One game, somewhere along the line.
Oh, jeez. CD defeated Auckland by an innings at what? Ipu.
Eden Park Outer Oval.
Oh, right, okay.
I like Ipu. That's the first time I've seen that.
CD 509 for 8 declared. Auckland 264 and 168 notables. CD Greg Hay 115, Brad Schuleman 86, Tom Bruce 81, Josh Clarkson 83, Dane Cleaver 63 not out, Ray Toole 4 for 33, and Auckland Ashok 4 for 141, Solia 81, Allen 79, George Worker 67.
It's a shout out there for Greg Hay. 39 years young, going around.
Yeah, I was just saying, is he still battling away?
Going for another season of Plunket Shield cricket.
Does he not like his family? Does he not like his family? He must be married with children. He must just feel like, I'm just another season in the shed.
Really curious story, Greg Hay, actually. That's his 17th first class 100. From what I can tell, and I did do a bit of almanacking on this, I think only one other New Zealander, Seth Dacre, has scored more first class 100s and not played a test for New Zealand. And that was because he played his last first class game in 1936. New Zealand pretty much had only played Test cricket in 1930. So he kind of missed the boat there.
Was he a late bloomer though, Greg Hay?
Well, no, not really. No, but he missed about 4 or 5 years in his mid to late 20s. He just, I think he just left cricket. And so he's probably just making up for lost time. But yeah, averages close to 42 in first class cricket. Put it this way, far worse players have been given a run.
Yes. Interesting. Wellington beat Canterbury by 129 runs at the Basin Reserve. Wellington 325 and 145. Canterbury 156 and 185. Notables. Nick Greenwood 79, Nick Kelly 52, Abbas 57. Canterbury, Zach Folks 4 for 43, and Fraser Sheet.
Is that a real name?
Is it? This is a great name.
Satin Sheet.
4 for 50. And old Johnny Bairstow, fellas?
Hey, can we go back to the Plunkett Shield?
Yes.
Can it kill the New Zealand first class cricketers to just maybe do something with the Shield, a la Ranflu Shield? Yeah. Can we just get something just to raise its profile? Because no one really knows what the Plunkett Shield. You know, and when it first got relaunched, I thought it was sponsored by New Zealand Plunkett, like the baby people.
Right. Yes.
So I think get it into the public. Someone do something on it.
Well, I think originally it is.
Is it?
Plunkett.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Free advertising.
We'll check that.
Yeah, look, I want some bodily fluids on that Plunkett Shield. Give it some character. Give it
some Class A's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some
No,
RTDs.
that's the resin powder.
Now, listen, let it go, Johnny.
I reckon.
He's still going on about it, and I shall read why. And it's about his infamous stumping or run out.
Is he still going on about that?
The decision was that I was out, and I moved on. Bairstow told the authors of Bazball, I've not brought it up since, I've kept quiet, it's all on them. If that's how they want to go about it and win a cricket game or what have you, then so be it. If you try to gain an advantage, then it's fair game, he said. But if you're starting in your crease, you've ducked, tap, scratched, I've even dragged my bat, looked up and then gone. I've never seen it happen from someone starting in their crease. I don't think you want that filtering down to the kids, into kids cricket.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I kind of agree. I do kind of agree with him in the fact that he wasn't walking up the pitch. He wasn't starting out of the pitch. It was a bit lazy from him. But
it was in July.
Yeah, I know. He's still going on about it. But I suppose the authors of Bazball, what's that? Is someone releasing a book on the style of cricket?
Lawrence Booth and Nick Holt have written a book called Bazball. I don't know if it's like a diary type thing of the Ashes season or if it's a bigger picture thing, but he also fired a few shots and he said that he thought that the Australians were claiming catches they didn't catch during the series, and Moeen Ali had the best line actually. He just thought it was a great chance for Pat Cummins to let a few things go by recalling Johnny, letting a few things go like Sandpaper Gate, for example. So shots have been fired anyway, so there's going to be a cracking game November 4.
Oh, yeah.
Get a bad. Well, let's be honest. You'd imagine they're going to get another massive hiding.
Hopefully.
That would be my pick. Now, listen, as you can probably know to regular BYC listeners, no Paul Ford today, so Mike Lane's taken over Paul Ford's Cricket Violence Corner.
Paul Ford's Cricket Violence Corner.
Real honour to do this, actually. It's my favourite section of the BYC podcast, is the Cricket Violence Corner. A Dublin mother scared the living daylights out of another woman by brandishing a cricket bat after a social media row, a court has heard. Jade Fitzpatrick pleaded guilty at Dublin District Court on Thursday to producing the bat as a weapon during the incident. I'm actually quite interested to know what kind of bat it was.
Oh, we've got a photo.
I've got a photo.
Oh,
okay.
Turn the page there, Lane.
Oh, okay. It's a miscellaneous.
It's like a warehouse.
Yeah, it's a miscellaneous bat. Judge Michelle Feenan heard the defendant called to the woman's North Dublin address armed with a cricket bat, claiming the woman had not liked a picture she had shared on Instagram and had subsequently told mutual friends that she thought O'Toole or Fitzpatrick had used the Clarendon filter on the photo of her in a new frock. This is the worst argument of all time. Obviously, this was a massively embarrassing thing to be accused of, so I wanted to straighten things out. I had no intention of using the bat, Fitzpatrick said. The defendant was on a Zoom job interview at the time and believes the ruckus played a part in her not receiving the promotion. The bat was a size 5 and not recognised brand. The case continues.
Good Lord.
Well, and you've got a photo here of the alleged criminal, and I'd say she'd need to run more than the Clarendon filter across it to make her to scrub up. She looks like she comes from the back of Dublin. But I like the evidence bag.
Yes.
That the bat's in. That's quite nice as well. the clear evidence bag. But I'm a bit disappointed in that cricket violence corner, if I'm honest, chaps. I mean, I actually wanted some violence. That just sounded like the threat of violence.
Sure.
So next time, can we actually get some proper physical violence? Is that all right?
Sure, man.
Okay.
Waiting! And now, the topper correspondence of the week.
Topper Correspondence of the Week, brought to you by Leader NZ's Lasagna Topper.
And this is from David O'Connell, and I shall read thus. Hi all, I really enjoyed listening to your most recent pod reviewing India versus New Zealand, and Dylan predicted Afghanistan's upset of Pakistan, which was particularly impressive.
Too right. Right.
I was interested on your takes on Daryl Mitchell's innings versus India. I thought he was incredible, not only in scoring 100, but continuing on to get his highest one-day score and holding together the middle and lower order. I agree with Dylan and Paul that it was down to Phillips, Chapman and Santner to help get us closer to 300. However, on TV commentary, Simon Dauld mentioned that Mitchell slowed down as he got closer to his 100, which he felt affected the finish to our innings. I really didn't think this was the case and thought we may have got nearer 240, 250 if Mitchell had really gone for it in the 90s, played a false shot and got out. And as Dylan pointed out, the pitch did seem to change character as the match progressed, which would have had a greater impact than one individual performance. Anyway, keep up the fantastic work, David. Thoughts, fellas?
Oh, David's my favourite correspondent.
Oh God, get your hand off it, Dave. Like, is that sure that's not like one of your aliases that you send correspondence to yourself constantly? It sounds like a made-up name, David O'Connell. What's a good name I can do? David O'Connell at David O'Connell 69 at gmail.com.
You know what? I actually did listen to Simon Dauld there, and I thought he did have a kind of point. And I think some players do that. Nathan Astle was apparently famous for it.
I think it's natural, isn't it? Is that not a natural instinct? Like,
of course it would be.
Yeah, you get to your 100 and then go, right, I'm going to drop the hammer now. Yeah. I don't think there's any player that wouldn't think about that.
Well, it's really weird.
Apart from Kane Williamson.
It's weird, like, when I got hundreds.
How many have you had?
9.
Really?
All my stats show that from 80 to 100, I just bolted home. There was no pause. Because I've never been a hummer of a player. It's not been about me.
Yeah, right. The
The
issue I've got with the 900s there, Jace, is, I mean, were these in the days where tests had no limit, where they went for 10, 15 days?
The timeless test.
The timeless test, because I don't believe that you can score 100 within even a test match scenario, given you batted through a one-dayer.
6 of them were in a morning session. I'll just put that out there. But I tell you what, though, Daryl Mitchell, we've talked about the fact that, he's kind of, I think you wrote an article about it, how he was an unfashionable kind of player, but he's taken every opportunity he's had, and now he's a huge part of the team.
Yeah, I really enjoy. He's taken on that Guptill type role of that straight drive where he keeps the head down.
Dude.
And I love that. That gives me a huge wide on seeing that.
The one that hit the awning of the roof.
Yeah.
Yes. Just phenomenal.
Yeah. So I'm loving son of a Mitch. Is he bowling at all?
No,
he's given up.
Really.
Oh,
and I think we're all better off for that.
Yes, I don't think there's any advantage there.
Hey, another piece of correspondence. This one's another mighty missive from Paul's Karori neighbour, Josh.
Can Josh just go and knock on his door and just tell Paul this? Or does he have to sit behind his laptop and read? He's
in India.
He's in India.
Hi, gents. Glad to hear you enjoyed the previous email, so I thought I'd give you one last telegram from the subcontinent. We're on our way home after catching Black Caps versus Afghanistan in Chennai and then England versus SA in Mumbai. Sadly, no Dharamshala for us. It's just too hard to get there and didn't work out with our schedule. But we had a lot of fun watching the mighty Kiwis push the rockstar Indians to the edge last night at some pretty decent Mumbai drinking holes, including needling the nervous Indian fans as much as possible.
That's easy to do, trust me.
Yes.
It's been really great watching our guys over here. The second game in Chennai was a classic game in many ways, with the willing Afghan bowlers threatening to drag our guys into an upset situation, but the doggedness of the Kiwis seeing them to a decent total by some comedy fielding, misadventures and suicidal batting from the Afghans and a rollicking win. Rashid Khan, though, what a bowler. Then on to Mumbai and a lifelong dream fulfilled by getting to the Wankhede Stadium. Surely up there with Lords and the MCG as one of the great cricket grounds in the world. Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Wait, have you been to Wankhede? I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know if I'd put it up there with Lords and the MCG.
Oh, it's so much better now, though.
Is it?
Yeah,
I went in the 2005 World Cup.
Totally different.
It was just a hodgepodge of different stands. I didn't. Yeah. Anyway.
So we left our run to the game there late. It was an absolutely sweltering afternoon, but still managed to catch Klaassen and Janssen pulverising the poor old English before they capitulated with the bat. With many of the English fans leaving early, we took the opportunity to give them a few well-deserved verbal sprays on the way out, which the locals thoroughly enjoyed. Playing to your audience there, Josh. A final highlight in Mumbai was getting down to the Oval Maidan on Sunday, or Maidan I think it's called, on Sunday morning to see some local cricket, with the club games being played in the middle but surrounded and overlapped by dozens of games of rubber ball, hollow bat cricket, with balls flying everywhere, which was some sight to see. A lot of dodgy bowling actions on display down there. All in all, an amazing experience to attend a CWC in India, which even the BCCI's attempts to queer the pitch couldn't ruin. Onwards and upwards for the Black Caps too, who have shown plenty to suggest they'll again be there at the sharp end. Best, and keep up the good work, Josh. And thank you very much for that, Josh. And it did sound like you had the trip of a lifetime. So
a couple of photos there too, boys.
Yeah, a couple of photos. Now Mumbai is great. Where he's talking about where the cricket is on the Sunday morning is kind of in the centre there, and they've got the clock tower in the background. It's madness. There's just so many games going on.
Yes.
And people bowling at pace.
Hey, if you want to send some correspondence to us, it's to byc@baysbrigade.co.nz.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I must admit, the BYC audience is the most engaged in terms of correspondence. I can't think of any other podcast that gets as many letters and correspondence, so keep them coming through.
And we'll also be doing, Dylan and Paul have been doing little, highlight BYC sort of short and sharp missives from the Cricket World Cup.
You're not doing those, Jaz?
No.
Why not?
Not on my contract.
Yeah, so Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
What
are our thoughts, fellas? Give me your predictions there.
New Zealand, Australia. Yeah, I think we'll take them. I think it's going to be one of the great 18 hours of New Zealand sports history. We'll take Australia in the Cricket World Cup. We'll take South Africa in the Rugby World Cup. I'm going to stay up all night, drink all Sunday, and I won't be at work till Wednesday.
Beautiful.
I think we're in for a thriller, but that fog's going to settle over the ground about 15 to 20 overs to go, and there'll be no result.
Oh.
That is an outrageous prediction. If that comes off...
Classic Cleaver,
if that comes off, you're going to be writing yourself another email from David O'Connell.
Totally. And Dylan Cleaver, just very quickly, mate, South Africa, New Zealand, Rugby World Cup.
15,
is it going to be missed there as well?
15-12 after extra time.
2?
I can't do that. I'm commentating that. If it's extra time, I couldn't deal with the Ireland game. I commentated that, and if I didn't have a job to do, i.e. commentate, I would have been a nervous wreck. And if we go
that was horrendous.
If we go to extra time in this final, I don't think I'd be able to live through it.
No, I think it's a 2-point win for the good guys.
Oof.
Yeah, I back the South Africans too. No, All Blacks all the way. Hey, listen, thanks for listening to this podcast. We'll be back same time, same place, hopefully with great news next Wednesday. Until then, see you later.